Let's say the United States has just plunged into the worst depression in its history and you are the president of those same United States. What do you do? Well, if your name is Herbert Hoover, then you would say something about laissez-faire individualism and do nothing. But if your name's Herbert Hoover, then you're also going to be remembered for being wrong. So let's skip ahead a few years and say now you're Franklin Roosevelt. You have a much better idea, which you call the New Deal. This program ran from 1933 to 35 and broke down into three goals: relief, recovery, and reform. It all started with what became known as the first 100 days, during which Congress passed an unprecedented amount of legislation. First up was a banking holiday. For 2 days, every bank across the country was shut down and investigated. The well-behaved banks were then allowed to reopen while the rest were put under government control. The government then put some broad restrictions over the banks while also creating the FDIC, which would act as insurance for banking deposits. These two measures were designed to restore Americans' confidence in the banking system. Also aimed at restoring confidence were FDR's fireside chats, in which he spoke weekly to the American people through the radio in a reassuring voice and told them what was going on. More practical was the so-called alphabet soup of new government agencies that sprang up. In no particular order, there was the Public Works Administration, which paid people to rebuild roads, the Civilian Conservation Corps, which paid younger people to plant trees, the Tennessee Valley Authority, which built hydroelectric dams in Tennessee, the Agricultural Adjustment Administration, which helped farmers by paying them to not farm, and the National Recovery Administration, which placed productive regulation on industry, just to name a few. But as it turned out, all that wasn't enough. Roosevelt then launched the Second New Deal, which ran from 1935 to 1938. It was basically more of the same, adding the Works Progress Administration for artists and the Social Security Act for old and out-of-work people to the alphabet soup. So, did it work? In a word, kinda. FDR did greatly expand the role of the federal government in people's lives and likely saved the economy from getting much worse. But government spending is a complicated thing. For all the good the New Deal may have done, 1937 and 38 still saw the Roosevelt recession when FDR tried to cut back on spending just a little. And even on his best day, FDR never got unemployment below 16%. That is, until World War II.